Well, the question often comes up as you approach retirement. Does it make sense to downsize? Should you move to a smaller home? Well, today we're going to ask Bill Litton that question over Cross Country Mortgage, find out whether even if you're in retirement or before retirement, does it make sense? We'll explore that today. Welcome into the Smart Mortgage Show. Ben George with Bill Litton, Regional President at Cross Country Mortgage there in Chaddsford, Pennsylvania. Bill, what's happening?
Hey, Ben. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. I know you deal with a lot of people that are getting closer to retirement, right, in their 50s. I know we think of home buying as first-time home buyers, you're in your 20s and 30s, but there's plenty of people buying homes and rearranging their lives in their 50s and 60s, right?
Yeah, we work with a lot of people that are kind of transitioning, in their 60s primarily, maybe early 70s, and they're thinking of downsizing, and they're also at a point where their employment, their full-time employment is about to change. They're going to either retire or pull back on hours, and that could have a big impact on what they qualify for.
So I think that's a good point. So I think it brings up kind of two sides of this question of whether it's wise to downsize. And I think there's a financial side, and there's also just the upkeep and the house size. Do you need all the square footage? It's kind of a two-part discussion, isn't it?
It is. And, part of it is if you're flush with cash and you're in really good health and physical condition and you're really enjoying the space, there may be no reason to downsize, right? But when we work with a lot of customers, either they've done this work already or we discuss it, things are going to change income-wise, and maybe the bigger home with all the upkeep and all the expenses, it no longer fits in the budget. Maybe they can afford it, but now they got to go into retirement accounts. They got to really shift things dramatically. So in that case, maybe downsizing makes sense.
So when you come into contact with someone that comes in and meets with you and wants to discuss maybe looking for a new home and they talk to you about downsizing, does that conversation, has it changed at all with kind of rates where they are? Because I know it's hard if you're in a home right now and maybe you refinance. If you've been in it for 25 years and you never refinance, probably doesn't make a difference to you. But if you are someone that maybe refinanced 5 years ago and now you're looking at this decision, what do you weigh here? How do you help get to that decision if you're changing a 3% rate to a 7%?
So I think that when you do the math, if the 7% rate, because the value of the home is lower, the loan amount's lower, the payment's lower, it could still make sense. Now, those numbers got closer together when rates went from 3 to 7. But when we look at the budget, and the other thing is, again, back to, well, what if we wait for rates to come down, but house values keep increasing, and now my salary to qualify with has gone away? So that's another consideration. You might have to kind of pay the piper for a few years until rates come down, and we do think they're going to come down. And when they do, you can refinance, because this, if it's a 30-year loan, you're not going to have it for 30 years. Average life is 6-7 years. So you're going to refinance that loan to a lower rate. Yeah,
all interesting points. Again, if you have questions as we go through this and you're thinking about maybe downsizing, want to talk about the options that you might have, 484-352-4151. And you can also log on smartmortgageshow.com. So we're talking about whether or not it makes sense to downsize. And you talk about the discussion of before retirement or in retirement. What do you recommend for someone that, let's say they're thinking about, I probably will go ahead and downsize in retirement. Does it make sense to do it? Do they have more flexibility, more options if they do it before their retirement while that paycheck's still coming in? Or do you have to look at all the other factors around it? If they have enough cash, it doesn't matter. How does that conversation play out if you're trying to decide timing?
So the biggest piece of that puzzle is doing mortgage planning. So get out ahead of it. Call us sooner than later. Let's discuss 2 snapshots, the picture of what does everything look like today and what's it going to look like after you've retired, because there might be a good reason to wait. And if there is a good reason to wait, does it mean you can't get a loan? Maybe you can, and we can give you that information to make sure you can, so that you've got options.
Yeah, the key is having options, right? So if you want to have that free 15-minute mortgage and loan consultation with Bill at Cross Country, you can do so by calling 484-352-4151. And Bill, kind of bring us up to speed on, whether it be someone that's thinking about downsizing or someone that's just looking for their first home. What is some of that conversation that takes place when you first meet with someone?
So we go through a process of discovery, and we're asking a lot of questions. It's all part of our mortgage planning process, but we want to understand, what is your time frame? Is this a 2-month plan, a 6-month plan, a 1-year plan? And what are your motivations? If I know your motivations, then I can better structure how we approach it. Also, are you renting right now for the first-time home buyer? If you're renting, rents are expensive. A lot of times you could own for what you rent for, especially if you have to put up first month's, last month's security deposit. That could be a good portion of your down money and your closing costs. Are you in a lease that's, month to month? Can you get out of it easily? So we're, and the other piece, Ben, is, what's your investment strategy? Like, do you want to put money into, are you funding your 401k? It should be in your plan that whatever your payment is on the new mortgage allows you to keep funding your 401k. So we're digging in to understand where you are today, where you're looking to get to, and filling in all the blanks in between to get you there.
Very good. Again, smartmortgageshow.com. That's the website with all of our shows you can check out at any time. And if you haven't joined us on YouTube, you're listening on Spotify or Apple, wherever you would listen, please come over to YouTube, join us there as well. A lot of great content, and hit subscribe, help us continue to grow. We also have some shorts as well, some short form content that you might enjoy. But either way, if you're looking for a mortgage, looking for a home, early in this process, no better person to talk to than Bill Litton and Cross Country Mortgage. Even if it's not a good fit, they'll kind of help you figure out what is the best fit for you as well. So 484-352-4151 is that number. All right, Bill, appreciate the time as always. We'll do it again soon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
This program is for informational purposes only. Please consult a qualified professional before taking any action. Bill Litton is a loan advisor and regional president with Cross Country Mortgage, NMLS number 147060.